The Alchemist mod is finally on console. This is a whole new class with 3 subclasses. We are going to do the Doctrine of Cruelty for this video. We'll be doing all 3. But we're going to go over a lot of the stuff because there is so much in here that you need to know. It can look a little complex on paper, but it's actually quite simple and it's really, really cool. So let's go over it. We're going to go level by level, commentary on all the items you can need. So of course we start with the Alchemist. Now that will give you Alchemy Throw. So as an action, you can throw an alchemy item from your inventory, unlocking the true potential of the item. You gain a bonus to the throw distance equal to your intelligence modifier. And as you can see, this ability will consume the alchemy item, but provides more potent effects than throwing it normally. If the item calls for a saving throw, use your alchemy save DC instead. We're also getting alchemy, which means we can craft alchemy potions outside of combat using catalyst points. And catalyze, which means we can do it inside of combat as a bonus action, but the items will expire after 5 turns. This will also give you medicine as a check and nature. Catalyst points, which I just went over, this is basically what you use to create your alchemies, kind of like sorcery points. Experimentalist adapt, so you see the lines drawn upon the world and its components and the people with that inhibit it. Expertise in nature and medicine, which you would have seen above. And first matter synthesis. When you complete a long rest, you gain a number of prima materia equal to half your alchemy level. You also gain constitution and intelligence saving throw proficiencies, alongside simple weapon, hand crossbow, light armor proficiencies. Okay, at this point you get to pick some formulae. So we're going to go over this, and we're going to go over each one individually, and then the ones we've selected. So for this, the first one is Acid Vial. So you can throw a vial that will do 2 to 6 acid damage when thrown and leave a trail of acid where it lands. Alchemist Fire. Same thing, but this time it's 2 to 8 fire damage, and it will leave a fiery surface. Alchemically Enhanced Soap, and as you can see we are taking this one. This basically cleans you and gives you advantage on persuasion skill checks into your next long rest. Antitoxin, so create this and consuming it neutralises the effects of all poisons, giving you temporary advantage against being poisoned and temporary resistance to poison damage. After that we have the basic poison, and this is what we'll be taking as well. And this can be just applied to weapons or thrown to inflict poison. Grease Bottle, you throw it for grease. Fleetfoot, so you throw this to increase the movement speed and immunity to surface effects. A Healing Drought, so this is a healing alchemy you can throw. Needler, so we can throw this and it's basically a grenade that will emit a large amount of shrapnel and deal 1 to 6 piercing damage, and those that struck with it end up with bleed and suffer gaping wounds. An Oil Flask, so you throw this and it will leave a flammable surface where it lands. The Tanglefoot Bag, so this basically is just a bunch of sticky black tar that will restrict the movement of the people within it. So you can see we're taking Needler, Healing Drought, Basic Poison, and the Soap for this one. For your ability points, we have an 8 Strength, 14 Dexterity, 16 Constitution, 16 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, 10 Charisma. For proficiencies, take what fits your roleplay. And Alchemist level 2 is where we get our specialization. Now before that we gain more catalyst points. Again, this is what is used to make your items. Experimental alchemy, so you can now brew 2 alchemical solutions instead of 1 when you succeed a 15 DC medicine check. And alchemy theory. This is basically like a toggleable, that means you can pick which alchemy sort of buff you want on your items. And that brings us into our subclass. Now for this we are doing the Doctrine of Cruelty, but again there is also Destruction and Preservation. Now for the Cruelty, alchemists of the Doctrine of Cruelty view existence as raw material for their experiments. To uncover the ultimate truths, they dissect life and will death without hesitation, seeing both as tools for advancement. So the first buff we get here is Venom Seeker. When attacking with a melee or ranged weapon, you add your intelligence modifier to the attack roll if your target is poisoned. And then we get our 3 theories we can switch between. So the first one is Death's Kiss. Your alchemical throws that deal poison damage consume a catalyst point, but when a creature fails a saving throw, they are struck with withering for 3 rounds. So it's basically if you throw a poison-based alchemy throw and they fail a saving throw, you'll have an extra buff on top of it. There's Dragged Unto Death. Your poison damage deals 1 to 6 extra necrotic damage to creatures below maximum hit points, or sorry, half their maximum hit points. Very useful. And then Virulent Flow. Your poison damage ignores resistance. Awesome ability. Alchemist level 3 brings more catalyst points as well as some passives. Now for this we've got to pick 2 more, and for this we are going to take an Oil Flask, to leave a flammable surface, and we'll pair this with Alchemy's Fire, so we can then set a light to the oily surface. We then get discoveries, so we're going to go over all of these really quickly and then I'll tell you which ones we're going to take. But Cold Logic lets you add your intelligence modifier to Intimidation. Discombobulate, make a melee attack using your intelligence modifier that deals 1 to 4 bludgeoning damage and attempts to stun an enemy until the end of the next turn. This is what we will be taking. Healthy Skepticism, add your intelligence modifier to Insight checks. Inland Empire, have resistance to psychic damage. Intellect Capace, your mind fortifies with you as much as your armor. When you're not wearing armor, you add your intelligence modifier to your armor class. This would be really useful, however we are using light armor. There's Mahamic Awareness, which adds your intelligence modifier to perception skill checks. Medicinal Mastery, add your intelligence modifier to the medicine skill checks. Mercurial Stride, add your intelligence modifier to your movement speed. Physical Conditioning, so your hit point maximum increases by 2 for every level you have in Alchemist. Really awesome ability. Sound Reasoning, add your intelligence modifier to your persuasion skill checks. Visual Calculus, you gain a bonus to your initiative equal to your intelligence modifier, and this is what we'll be taking as well. Alchemist level 4 brings our first feat, more catalyst points, and Midnight. So you study a forced humanoid augmentation as bore fruit. You craft a draft that transforms those that drink into mindless but powerful beasts for 5 turns. And you can also do this inside of combat. For an ability improvement, you probably guessed it, but we're going to bump our intelligence up to 18. Alchemist level 5 brings a catalyst point and 2 passives. Now we gain more formulas, and for this there are more options, as you can see here. We now have Acid Oxidizing Agent, so this will throw a acid that eats through metals, dealing 3 to 12 acid damage and reducing armor class, and we're taking this. There's Alkahest, which means you can dismantle other alchemical items into prima materia. We have Malice, which is another one we'll be taking. You learn the formula for Malice, a potent poison that is especially difficult to resist and blinds those who fall under its influence. Alchemist level 6 brings more catalyst points, and Hasty Throw. So as a bonus action we can throw an alchemy item from our inventory. It will gain a bonus to its throw distance to intelligence modifier, but we don't gain the additional benefits that you would from the normal throw. So as the normal one has extra buffs on each item, this one doesn't. We gain an extra attack if we choose to do the attack action. And Caustic Warden. You gain immunity to poison damage, as well as the poisoned condition, and resistance to fire and acid damage. Alchemist level 7 brings more passives and a catalyst point. Now for your formulae here, you'll see there's not any new options, so we will just be taking the very basic acid vial. And then for your discoveries here, we are going to come towards the bottom and take physical conditioning, increase our maximum hit points by 2 for every level we have in Alchemist. Alchemist level 8 brings another catalyst point and fast hands, meaning we now have an additional bonus action. For a feat here, we're going to max out our intelligence at 20. Level 9 brings another catalyst point, and we gain 2 more passives, and you'll see we now have more. So we now have Adderall Inducer, you learn a formula for a grenade that applies haste to all creatures that inhale its fumes, and we're definitely taking this. There's now Uriel's Fury. You learn a formula for a clever distillation of rapid heat-injecting compounds designed to mimic the power of winter, throw to deal cold damage and possibly freeze creatures. This is awesome, but we're not quite taking this. There's now Confounder. You learn the formula for a grenade that deals 3 to 12 poison damage and can confuse enemies. Flash Blinder, a grenade that can blind foes and temporarily incapacitate Steel Watchers. And then there is also Serpent's Breath, a formula for a grenade that deals 5 to 20 poison damage and leaves a poison cloud where it lands. And we're taking this one. Level 10 now brings Swift Throw. So using a catalyst point and a bonus action, we can throw an alchemy item from our inventory. Again, we get the true potential and the increased throw distance. So this is basically a bonus action version that will use extra points to do your base throw attack. That will give you the extra benefits from your alchemy throws. Again, it all sounds very confusing, but when it comes to actually putting it into practice, really, really simple. We get a new passive and Deadly Bloom. So when we reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, a bloom of poisonous vapor emanates from their corpse. We gain new discoveries at this point, and for this one we are going to take the Inland Empire to give us resistance to physical damage, psychic damage. And that brings us to level 11, more catalyst points, and volatile potency. When you make a damage or healing roll with an alchemical throw, you roll an additional 1d6 and add it to the result. We get another formulae here, and for this one we are going to be taking Flash Blinder, really useful against Steel Watchers. And that brings us to Alchemist level 12. Our final feat, Catalyst Points, and the Magnum Opus. The path to the great work is now open to you. You don't need to rest and reflect on all you have learned thus far. For passive here we gain one more discovery, and we'll be taking Medicinal Mastery, so we add our intelligence modifier to medicine skill checks. And then for feat here, we are going to take the ability improvement, and we're just going to bump our dex up to 16. If you want to, you could also do your constitution to 18, but I think getting dex up to 16 a bit more useful. Okay, let's go over our equipment. We start with the Mask of Soul Perception, a +2 bonus to attack rolls, initiative, and perception checks. The Devoration Cloak, so when you poison a foe, we heal ourselves for 1d4 hit points. The Boots of Genial Striding, so unimpeded by difficult terrain. Any light armor will work here. I'm taking the Studded Leather for a +1 bonus to initiative and 1 less bludgeoning damage, but any light armor you have that's got good stats will work, or clothing. The Icarus Gloves, so whenever we deal acid damage, we also inflict noxious fumes on the target. The Shifting Corpus Ring to give us invisibility and blur. The Caustic Band for a solid 2 acid damage on our weapon attacks. The Amulet of Baal, so on a hit will inflict bleeding upon targets at maximum hit points. The Handmaiden's Mace, now this fits thematically because it has poison on top of the mace. It will also set our strength to 18, meaning we can hit pretty hard with it. And we're going to pair this with any shield you have that's got either a good passive or a good plus to your armor class. Just something to really either tank you up or give you something really useful you can use in combat. Now, if we come here, you'll see we have 17 points in the bottom, and this is our Alchemy Points. So we're going to make some potions, and you'll see if we choose stuff. So let's make a Serpent's Breath. That has used 1 Alchemy Point. If we make a Malice, that's used 2. So bear that in mind. Let's make a Midnight. You see that is also used 2. So a lot of these will use different things based on what you have. So please just bear that in mind. But we're going to make some potions we can take into combat. We made a Serpent's Breath. Let's make an Adrenaline Enhancer. And we will also make an Alchemist Fire. And we'll pair that with, when I can find it, a Healing Drow. Now from there, we have got a bunch of potions ready for us to use and throw and whatnot. And before we get into the combat tutorial, like I said, Alchemical Throw is the main one you're going to use to throw things. But as you can see, as a bonus action, we have Hasty Throw and we have Swift Throw. Hasty Throw means you can throw it and you don't gain the extra benefits. Swift Throw is basically your Alchemical Throw as a bonus action, and it will use a Catalyst Point. So bear that in mind, you will drain your Catalyst Points by doing this. There's also your Catalyze, and this is what you can use in combat to craft the potion that will expire after 5 turns. Besides all that, we have our passives, or our theories. And don't forget you can switch between these, but for this one, I really like using Dragged Unto Death. So we're going to take this. And now that we're set up, let's go find some combat and check this out. Okay, you can see we're in the combat, we're actually top of the turn order, so let's get this going. And the first thing we'll do is we'll do our Swift Throw. Again, this will use one of our alchemical points, but it means we can just throw some stuff around. So let's throw out our Serpent's Breath, and we'll throw this here. And there you go, got noxious fumes on the enemies as well. If we come into here to check that out. Affected entity takes 1 to 4 poison damage each turn. It must succeed a con saving throw, or will take an additional 2 to 8 poison damage. So we've really now got that passive going. We've also got this cloud, so if the barbarian runs into it, they'll get poisoned. And we still have our main action available, which means if we want to, we could come in here with our Alchemical Throw, and we could throw out a Needler. We could throw this up here. And there you go, you'll see we've caused more noxious fumes. We've got our Needler going. So not only do they have gaping wounds, they've also got bleed and noxious fumes. Noxious fumes. So we're really stacking up these passives. And of course, as a bonus action, if we want to, once again, a Swift Throw. And we could come in here with a Malice. And we could throw that down there. Now see, even though they made their save, they're still stricken with Malice. And you see we have just completely dominated the battlefield round 1. You'll see lots of damage taken there. Now you remember, we do have that extra bonus potion we get as a class feature, which is Midnight. So I'm going to put this on Jahira, and we'll drink this to become a mindless brute. And there you go. You can see we've jumped up in size. If we come into here, you'll see there is no stat changes, but it does mean we can run in here, and you see we can pump out some really heavy damage. See the enemy running into our noxious fumes, and there you go. You'll see lots of acid and poison damage there, as well as that. Okay, now let's say we want to make another quick potion. We can do catalyze. And we'll catalyze and we'll make an acid vial for the oxidizing agent. Now this will run out after 5 turns, so we have to make sure we throw this nice and early. So if we find that here, we'll throw it and go sparks it. And there we go, and you'll see we've got so many clouds of poison all around. Now the throw does count as an action, which means you can't follow up with a extra attack, so just bear that in mind. But what we can do as a bonus action is discombobulate, where we can attempt to stun a target. So let's try and stun the barbarian here. And there you go, just like that, we've managed to stun them. You see the nice bleed damage we got there? And the enemies run into the noxious fumes, taking a bunch of poison and acid. And with Jahira, while we've still got our rage going, we're going to climb up the ladder, and we're going to start swinging for the fences. Just like that. And what's awesome, we can also shove, so if we want to, we can do that with our extra rage, and you'll see we've just thrown them into the abyss. So this Midnight Rage is an awesome potion you can do. You see the enemy stun there, so they can't do anything. Now, don't forget we have an extra attack, so if we do our base attack, you'll see we poisoned, and because we poisoned the enemy, we healed up for the 1d4, and we can follow up with our extra attack. So we can pump out some really hefty damage with this build. And again, we still have 3 turns of our rage left, so let's swing for the fences again. And we still have our haste potion, so let's throw this. We will do our influencer. We're going to throw this down here. And you'll see we've all been hasted, which means we get an extra turn. And because of that, I'm going to throw down the healing drought as well, and we're going to heal up our companions. Just like that. Which means as a bonus action, we still have the ability, if we want to, we can change our theory. We could do a swift throw, a hasty throw. So for example, if we wanted to, we could throw out an alchemist fire on the enemy over here. We can throw it up here if we had the room. Let's throw it there. Just like that, and you'll see we've burnt a huge amount and now caused burn. Which they'll just stacked up there. And with haste, it means we can come in here, and we get 2 actions. Which means we can pump out the attacks, which works really well with our brute, because we can hit nice and hard for 2 turns. And that works amazingly well for us as well, because if I can target the enemy, you'll see we get to do that. We get to follow up with our extra attack, and because we get a whole other action, we get to do that, and we still have another extra attack. So we can give ourselves 4 attack thanks to the haste potions. Awesome, awesome stuff. So that is the Cruelty Alchemist. It is an amazing ranged person that can deal damage, you can buff your allies, you can debuff enemies, you can give them a bunch of sort of stats effects and damage over time on your turns as well. But we also have the ability to really hit hard in combat. The sort of combination of equipment and potions and our weapon really makes this a very versatile but deadly subclass to play as. One thing I want to show you, you'll see we've only got 2 of our points left. If we short rest, they do not replenish, so please bear that in mind. Make your potions last, and of course you don't have to craft all your potions. If you have a stockpile like I do, if I come in here, you can throw these as well. So I really hope you've enjoyed this build for the Cruelty Alchemist. If you have, please go and check out the mod, it's awesome. And like the video, it helps me tremendously. If you're ready, please subscribe to the channel for more. I've got more guides to Baldur's Gate, to Dragon Age, Oblivion, Expedition 33, Elden Ring, basically all the amazing RPGs you could ever need. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.